any tournament I've seen him, he's done really well.
Yeah. Interesting.
So let's move on to the third of our top 8 matches. We've got Quentin versus Marcel P. Marcel P top 8'd last week. Quentin just upset Clyde, a former winner. We've got pretty competitive players here. What are these decks looking like? Ooh, Quentin's got a weird one.
We've got Hog Tesla.
Is that a Hog Cycle deck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a Hog Cycle deck running the old Fireball. Fireball just looks like...
I gotta update the minor.
It's such a weird spell to see on the card set because I feel like Fireball is such an old school, like in an old school time, old school meta when Poison wasn't popular, and Hog Poison is super popular now. So seeing that Fireball just feels like, man, he's really taking.
He's opting for the quick damage instead of the overtime delayed. He wants the instant death instead of delayed overtime, which can damage the Hog. So
sure. Let's see, the minor Inferno controls, again, super popular archetype. Good luck getting to that Inferno Tower. It's kind of hard to say what's going to go because I don't see... okay, so theoretically, Quentin can cycle Hogs faster than Marcel can cycle Inferno Towers. Yep. And the Inferno Tower costs more, so right away the Hog has a little bit of advantage. But I don't know because the Hog doesn't break through it. It's not like a cannon, right?
Yeah.
Where you actually kill it and they trade each other. The Inferno Tower can kill the Hog and survive with half of its health left, which allows you to get back to the next one.
So the thing that I like about Quentin's deck over the trifecta that Achan was running against the Inferno Tower is that Quentin has the minions, also has Zap plus Ice Spirits, also has a Fireball for instant health reduction on the Inferno Tower. So he has a lot of different options if he identifies the correct line of play. He has a lot of different options to kind of handle the Inferno Tower in a decent manner that doesn't result in the Hog Rider killing it, left with a sliver of health, and then dying before it reaches the King Tower or the Crown Tower.
Try and tilt this up a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and apply a chroma key to this one, folks, so we can... boink. There we go.
No.
There we go. Sounds good. And let's turn off the other thing. Doink. Hooray.
Yeah.
There we go. So we can follow the top 8 as we're going through. Backstab has advanced to the top 4. ESL has advanced to the top 4. Let's get into game 1 of Quentin Marcel P.
All right, Marcel P. For some reason, it just always holds in my mind. I will forever remember Marcel P's minor defense.
Yes, that was the week that I wasn't here. I was at a wedding. I remember watching the replay later, and I was getting up out of my seat. Marcel P defended something like 5 or 6 minors in a row in order to win a match to get into the top 8. It was
very not easy to do. It's something that's very difficult. I think that's not the end-all be-all of playing against minor decks, but that is impressive.
That's a weird opening with that Tesla Tower because it's very reasonable that Tesla Tower goes all 30, 40 seconds of its life and doesn't really do much. Although actually it's gonna fight this Ice Wizard a little bit.
Yeah.
The important thing is, does it stop? Oh, actually, great! Look at that. The 2 seconds really took advantage.
Nice.
I'm
solid.
Wrong. Very wrong. Yeah.
You're gonna fireball that?
Yeah. Marcel recognizes it with the well played.
Yes. Well played, sir.
The fireball. Interesting.
I like Fireball. Actually, as good as Minor Poison is, I really like Minor Fireball because when people try to do things like barbs to block or guard or whatever, it's just fun to Fireball a collector and the whole thing.
Fireball is definitely satisfying. So this is kind of what we talked about. The Ice Wizard assisting kind of helps it out, but Hog plus Goblin plus Zap will really, really push that Inferno Tower down really quick.
I mean, these minor control decks were built to not ever take damage.
Yeah.
And I'm sure when you're thinking, how do I not take damage ever? One of the first things you think about is, like Hog Cycle. How do I make sure I never lose to a Hog Cycle deck? So you see Mini P.E.K.K.A, Guards, Ice Wizard, Inferno Tower. I mean, there's so many cards in that deck that match up well against a Hog Rider. Smart move to put the minor far enough away that the Tesla Tower doesn't shoot it.
Yeah. Very good. But, again, using a minor just to hit a tower is kind of...
Sure.
Yeah.
I like that Ice Spirit, though. Smart move to get the Ice Spirit up in there. I mean, even though the Zap comes in a little late and whatever, I think that was over. It was actually cheaper overall for Quentin. He spent 7 to Marcel's 8.
And that's really what Quentin needs to start doing because, as Brumham identified, it's really the cycle that's going to get him the damage. He needs to outcycle the Inferno Tower. There will always be, Marcel P is a good enough player, I posit that there will always be an Inferno Tower ready for the first Hog Rider.
I think what Quentin might want to do is to actually, he's a Hog deck, right? Like, the Hog's not surprising anyone. But maybe you play the Hog behind your King Tower and then follow it up with the Goblins and the Ice Spirits to try and get a second Hog Rider out right after.
Yeah, he committed a lot of elixir. The
Ice Spirit blocked by the Guards.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So there needs to be some kind of... So I think Quentin needs to play in a more kind of controlled style where he he makes it so that the Inferno Tower is the only elixir that they can play.
Sure.
And then cycle to the next hog and play the second hog when the Inferno Tower
That's
is
what I was
down.
saying with the hog behind the King Towers. I think that allows him to actually cycle and buy a little time and maybe get 2 hogs out at the same time.
Yes.
That would probably help.
Fireball.
Yes, he's got a pre-fire.
He could have had a predictive fireball with Inferno.
Yeah, that's a good point because you know the Inferno's
He's
coming
cycled
down.
to his hog, so he's primed right now. He could play another hog here, and I think.
Oh, go for it now! Yeah, this is a good.
Go
He
for it.
He just spent 7 elixir.
Go! It's
He's
too late.
waiting. He waited.
Yeah. I think
Minions
you have
on
to
the
go
left
in.
is protecting the Inferno. Minions
smart.
on the left right here.
Oh,
Ice
Nice,
Spirit
and he
as
has to
well.
play. So
but
now he's
Zap
open
is
up
out
the left
now.
side. This is important to notice. Hog cycle can go left side now. Actually, the Inferno Tower is dead, so it doesn't actually matter.
Sure.
He can go either way.
a lot of damage done there.
Yeah.
Kind of pulled
So,
it back in.
This is an interesting situation for a hog cycle. Ice Wizard moving down slowly on the right side. You don't want to play your hog rider into the Ice Wizard on the right. You could actually play on the left if you want to.
Oh, we
capitalize
caught
on
him
it.
without. We
Oh,
caught.
zap! And then the Ice Spirit. Oh, but unfortunately, the Hog Rider went down from that last swing of a mini P.E.K.K.A.
And oddly, it's an even game.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Step by step.
I think Quentin's done a great job adapting. Like, I did not think from looking at these deck lists that this game would be as close as it is.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Quentin for putting, 2,000 damage,
Yeah.
1,700 damage on that tower despite everything deck list-wise moving against him.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a little too much health on the Inferno Tower left.
This could be all. This
Yeah.
this is dangerous right here.
Yeah, I think this might be it right here. It only needs 1 or 2 more shots. Marcel P takes game 1.
I think Hog Cycle needs to think about elixir management in a different way. You need to be willing to be less on elixir and then still throw your Hog Rider out on the field. We saw situations when he had that Ice Rider come down the right, even though you're behind on elixir and you just hit 6, you have to play your Hog Rider there because there's not going to be a better time.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to throw a naked hog out there. Sometimes they'll get through. And you never
Yeah.
know. So, I mean, he's wasting a lot of elixir to keep on going through, and,
Yeah.
it's leaving less for defense. And
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Marcel P, definitely a huge fan. Let's go ahead and put Marcel P up by a single game.
Wait.
Oopsies, wrongies. Oops. I can't unselect.
Cancel.
It's my first time using challenge.
There
There we go. Marcel P goes up by 1 game. And Marcel P clearly likes the Inferno Tower because, he's playing it in both lists. This is one of the cards he opted to use in both lists, along with Ice Spirit and Zap and Ice Wizard. So Marcel P is playing the defense game no matter which deck list he's running.
that's interesting because he took out, usually the pump is in that deck. So that's a lot of elixir to put down without a pump. You got, what?
Yeah, it's a good
5,
point.
6, 5.
Well, that's actually 5/5 now because the
Yeah, you're
bowler
right.
went down to 5.
Oh, right, that's right.
Yeah, so we got 3 5-cost cards, 2 4-cost cards.
So it's kind of like,
a little pricey.
in terms of cost, it's very similar to a giant balloon.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's very similar to.
Yeah,
a giant
so
balloon.
Quentin's gonna ride or die with this hog deck. I would have not believed it before, but he actually plays it very skillfully. That I think it's totally reasonable.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about spectating Hog Cycle decks is it's super easy for the spectator because you can literally see the opponent's elixir.
Yeah, you're like, oh, he's at 0. Why aren't you hog riding
Yeah.
right now? But it's crazy, yeah, because I'm not a very good hog rider player for that exact reason. Like, I have a hard time being like, no, he's definitely at 0, unless they did something very obvious, like spend 10 elixir in 2 seconds of each other.
And in many ways, because once you get into especially double elixir and when they have collectors up, it's not even about I just saw he played this card, now I can punish with the hog rider, because oftentimes 2-cost, 3-cost cards are enough to stop it. You need to know that he wants to play this card at this time, so I'm going to play the hog rider right when he plays that other card, so he doesn't even have time to regenerate his elixir enough to defend.
Yes.
You know?
Split push.
Interesting.
Let's see how at least the bowler's getting distracted towards the middle, but that's a pretty good amount of damage. If that
Bowler's
Tesla Tower
pretty
could have gotten
healthy.
off 2 shots, that would have been huge compared to the 1.
That was a good Ice Spirit.
Yeah. Oh, and even stops the
Nice.
bowl pretty good. So Quentin's getting off to a good start here. Oh, no.
Oh, wow.
Got the Ice Spirit.
Oh, man. I think, unfortunately, if the zap didn't even work. The Ice Spirit, it retargeted back onto the Hog Rider. You'd obviously would rather have it attack.
Yeah. In
goblins
that
or whatever.
situation, and I think this was a big thing that hurt Quentin in the last match, he pushed too much elixir in the first push.
Sure.
If he just played the Hog Rider and the Goblins and then just held the zap, then he has more elixir to cycle, and then the next time he pushes...
Ooh, that was a good zap.
Nice.
Very fast fingers by Marcel there. I thought was going to be...
That was scary. That was
mini
scary.
swing for sure.
Yeah.
Great Goblins there against Ice Wizard. Normally Ice Wizard is not a card that you... Whoa, those Goblins are getting beat up. But, yeah, Ice Wizard is one of those cards that I don't think you would normally expect to counter something like Goblins, because in your head it's like that's a bad matchup.
It's really about the surround.
And it does so little damage that
it
almost doesn't matter.
I actually like this.
The Naked Hog, see?
I like this. I
like it said.
Okay.
Just test it out. I mean, now he's spent the 5 elixir on the Inferno.
It also hurts because he can't support his push as well now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Mini P.E.K.K.A. here is the answer. And then
Fireball.
he needs to find some way to kind of cycle so that he can play Minion Hog Rider to bypass that Inferno Tower.
That poison and that rage is gonna hurt a little bit.
Quentin had a Fireball that I'm surprised he didn't find more ways to use. There was an Ice Wizard, an Ice Spirit, a Lumberjack, and a Giant, all within a pretty clear Fireball radius, and opted not to take that shot.
That bowler's gonna do some damage and pushes it right into the Inferno.
Although
That's
the Ice Spirit went really well.
It's going well. Yeah, it's going real well. And I think, did he get a swing?
Unfortunately, they're not going to do much damage.
He's already cycled to his next Hog Rider, and I think he should play it. I really think he should play his Hog Rider.
Fireball question. That was.
Oh man.
I don't know about that.
Well, I think he thought it was going to die.
Yeah.
Right? And that I get it in that case, because what can you possibly kill an Ice Wizard with on the opponent's side of the board? Like lightning? Like there's no rocket? Like there's nothing that kills it. So I think if he saw an opening to Fireball that thing for value, you go for it. But look, this Ice Wizard's still alive, still attacking.
Yeah.
It was a good Tesla.
Unfortunately, actually, you know what? The game's a little closer than I think we're giving it credit for, though. I mean, there's only 600 damage, 650 that separate these two, and a single strong hog push could get through. The question is, like right now, Marcel's really low. Like if Quentin knew, he should be hog riding, right? But he has to spend every elixir that he has on this defense because Lumberjack can just run away with the game.
That's another thing about Hog Cycle is you actually need to be comfortable with playing your Hog Rider in the middle of defending a push.
That's a raged Ice Wiz, which is going to do...
It's all right. Did you see, though, how badly Lumberjack scooshed those goblins? I mean,
yes, that was quick.
Though I think what's going to throw people off for the first couple weeks of the new meta is that people are trying to stop Lumberjack with the same cards that you would stop Mini P.E.K.K.A. with. And they're very different solutions. Like, Knight is very good against Lumberjack, but you would never play Knight against Mini P.E.K.K.A.
No, never.
Yeah, very, very interesting.
That's a lot of elixir going in right now.
Yes.
He's trying to go.
So Marcel P is playing. He's opting not to play the Inferno Tower because he wants to build a counter push. He's playing units that he can convert, elixir that he can convert onto the other side of the map, and that's why he's not using the Inferno Tower now.
I think he went for a push just to win it, and unfortunately, he gets bowled over.
Yep. Yeah, I think the story of that match was that Quentin, while being a very skilled Hog Rider player, just how does a Hog Rider deck break through the Inferno Tower and all of the associated defensive cards